In 10 years, us humans will enter the original star. The Supreme Council meeting ended after the calm voice from Primal Chaos City leader. Hong, long. The door of Pantheon's sanctuary opened, and almost all the Universe Knights stood up. So soon? Luo Feng and Tru Yen Knight also stood along with the others. The Universe Knights all walked to the golden door of the sanctuary, chatting and laughing. They stepped through the door and disappeared. What are you guys waiting for? Bloody Wing Knight walked towards them. How short the meeting was! Luo Feng smiled. Bloody Wing Knight explained. I was also surprised at that the first time I attended the Supreme Council meeting. However, I grew to understand later that it takes a long time for an issue to come up that actually affects us humans. Besides, more than half of the Supreme Council meetings involve no discussions, and only Universe Masters need to know. Only those that require voting take a long time. After all, those superior Universe Masters don't have time to elaborate on the issue for us. Luo Feng nodded. It was indeed efficient. Primal Chaos City leader hadn't talked much. Instead, he had only mentioned the original star. Then the screen showed up in front of the Universe Knights, which gave a detailed description. Let's go, Bloody Wing Knight said. Okay. Luo Feng, Tru Yen Knight, and Bloody Wing Knight stepped into the golden door side by side. Nearby, some Universe Knights were talking quietly. Look, it's Blade River Emperor. Rumor has it that Blade River Emperor has at least 6 true treasures. Though he was able to kill Bark Mirror Emperor and thus is ranked among the exceptional undying fighters, he is, at most, a secondary Universe Knight power-wise. He'll become the perfect target for supreme beings of other races on the original star. Yes, he has at least 6 true treasures, and 2 of them are of the Soul type and the Flying Palace type. He'd just be a moving treasury on the original star. There are always supreme beings from billions of races on the original stars. The Universe Masters of other races will probably attack Blade River Emperor on sight. Universe Overlords and Universe Masters of other races will definitely attack him. What are you thinking? The weaker Universe Knights never choose to go when the original stars are open. Blade River Emperor is not stupid. Those other races can't do anything about him as long as he doesn't go. They also stepped into the golden door and disappeared. On the mountainside of Thunder Island, Luo Feng, Bloody Wing Knight, and Tru Yen Knight sat together and talking about the original star. To be precise, it was Bloody Wing Knight who did the talking while Luo Feng and Tru Yen Knight listened to him carefully. There are 10,081 original stars, and each of them is full of valuables, Bloody Knight said. Many superpowers in the universe gather there often. Those treasures or ordinary true treasures won't result in any significant fighting, whereas there will surely be horrifying battles for some precious true treasures like those of the Flying Palace type, Domain type, and Soul type, or even senior true treasures or top-tier true treasures. The more precious the true treasures are, the more attention will be drawn, and Universe Masters will fight to the death for them. Every time an original star opens, Universe Masters get killed. Luo Feng couldn't help but interject. Many Universe Masters have survival techniques like clone techniques. Those without clone techniques won't go to the original stars in the first place, right? This is where you're wrong. Bloody Wing Knight shook his head. There are only a few Universe Masters. A race is qualified to be a powerful race as long as there's one Universe Master among them. Even we humans, one of the pinnacle races, count just a few Universe Masters among our ranks. Few Universe Masters fear death. Although they're careful, the opening of original stars is a great chance for them to get top-tier true treasures, and they'll strive not to miss such an opportunity. If they can get some top-tier true treasures and even pinnacle true treasures, they can roam the universe with few enemies. Luo Feng nodded. He understood how useful true treasures were. For instance, Thousand Treasures River gave Primal Chaos City leader significant power, and he had been able to easily overpower Master of Skywolf, even with Skywolf Palace. The Purple Knight was one of the 72 deified generals, and he was much stronger than candidate deified generals like Pei Feng Knight and Jiao Feng Knight. He actually had the power of a Universe Master, yet Master of Skywolf had been able to easily suppress him with his Skywolf Palace. I've been there once, and I almost got killed, said Bloody Wing Knight. But just when Bloody Wing Knight was describing his experience on the original star, a shadow flew toward them. Luo Feng! Luo Feng turned around. Nine-Blade Knight? He thought. Luo Feng was dazed. After becoming undying, many Universe Knights had traveled to congratulate him, but Nine-Blade River hadn't been one of them. Luo Feng knew that he was supposed to be beneath him, which was probably why Nine-Blade River was reluctant to do so. His pride was too great. Nine-Blade Knight, Luo Feng greeted him, smiling. Luo Feng. Nine-Blade River also had a warm smile on his face. He glanced at True Yen Knight and Bloody Wing Knight beside him and added, "And I see you two are also here." "Ha! Nine-Blade, are you here to borrow a true treasure?" Bloody Wing Knight said. Nine-Blade Knight froze a bit. Indeed, he was here to borrow a true treasure. After all, among the humans, only senior Universe Knights or Universe Overlords had true treasures. However, these supreme beings would normally go to the original stars. Few who had true treasures chose not to go. By all accounts, it was likely that Luo Feng would choose not to go, despite the fact that had at least 6 true treasures. There are no grudges between Luo Feng and me, he thought. Instead, we've known each other for a long time. I can easily become friends with him if I show him some respect. Besides, if I have a true treasure, I have a much higher chance of getting valuables on the original star. I just need to show some respect. Thus, after some consideration, Nine-Blade Knight had made the decision to come to Luo Feng. Power was the only thing that mattered on the path to becoming a great being. Other great beings would respect you only if you were strong. "Luo Feng, I'm indeed here to borrow a true treasure from you," admitted Nine-Blade Knight. "I'm good at close combat, so I want to borrow your true treasure armor." He knew that it was impossible for him to borrow the soul-type true treasure. Borrow a true treasure? Luo Feng was dazed. "I realize it might sound a bit ridiculous." Nine-Blade Knight smiled. "I'll return you the armor the moment I leave the original star, and I'll give you 10 treasures to show my gratitude. We can ask the virtual universe to verify the lending and sign a contract. If I don't return it to you, it would be as good as betraying my race." Luo Feng hesitated a bit. Would it be a bit disgraceful if he just said no? "Nine-Blade Knight," Luo Feng said. "I'm sorry, but—" Nine-Blade Knight immediately understood that he had failed, but he persisted. "Luo Feng, the original star will be open for 1,000 eras, and I can get out of there at any time. Once I get a valuable, I'll leave immediately. I might just stay there for hundreds of, if not 1,000 years. It's not that I don't want to lend it to you," Luo Feng said, "but I actually plan to go to the original star myself." Nine-Blade Knight didn't know what to say. Since Luo Feng wanted to go to the original star himself, he surely wanted to be as powerful as possible. "Ha ha! Well then," Bloody Wing Knight laughed. "Nine-Blade, I was actually here to borrow a true treasure from Luo Feng as well, but I didn't expect you to have the same idea now that I know Luo Feng wants to go to the original star. However, I needn't ask anymore. I must thank you, Nine-Blade." Nine-Blade Knight smiled as well. He thanked Bloody Wing Knight secretly. His words had eased the awkwardness of the situation. Nine-Blade Knight left soon, but after only a short while, another great being arrived to borrow true treasures. "Second brother," Luo Feng greeted him. A bold man in a fiery cape flew towards him. It was Gui Knight. He had been with Primal Chaos City Leader until now. "Luo Feng, I think you've already figured out why I'm here." Gui Knight stepped on the ground and looked at Luo Feng. "I'm here because I want to borrow that soul-type true treasure from you. I speculate that you're not going to the original star, and that's why I'm here. After getting out of the original star, I'll return the soul-type true treasure immediately and compensate you with 3 true treasures." 3 true treasures? Luo Feng was shocked. Many universe overlords didn't have that many true treasures. Pei Feng Knight, for instance, only had 4. Gui Knight spent a lot of time around Primal Chaos City Leader. Perhaps that was how he got more true treasures. Still, 3 true treasures was an exceedingly generous offer. "Second brother," Luo Feng said, "your offer is indeed tempting, but the thing is, I want to go to the original star myself." "Luo Feng," Gui Knight said, startled. "You also want to go?" Luo Feng nodded. "Yes. Don't you know how dangerous it is there?" Gui Knight said. "Ordinary universe knights are unlikely to attain any true treasures. Even if you were a universe overlord, you wouldn't be able to get 3 true treasures if you didn't have enough to protect yourself." Luo Feng understood his logic. Gui Knight was implying that it was a better deal for him to get 3 true treasures for lending him 1 soul-type true treasure, since even many universe overlords weren't able to get 3 ordinary true treasures. Luo Feng felt conflicted. "Second brother," he thought, "you don't know that my soul-type true treasure is Tower Pearl and that it already recognizes me as its master. Universe Knights would certainly be killed if they tried to merge it with their souls. I'd still like to take my chances there." Luo Feng said. Okay, Gui Knight said. He nodded and smiled. Then I'll leave first. Looks like I'll need to find another way to borrow true treasures. Luo Feng watched the departing Gui Knight and felt a little regret. He simply could not comply this time, and while things might not seem any different on the outside, there was bound to be a knot formed in their hearts. What a pity, Luo Feng said quietly. My soul-type true treasure, Tower Pearl, is one of the treasures from the Star Tower and already recognizes me as its master. Universe Knights who try to merge with it will die. If it was an ordinary soul-type true treasure, temporarily loaning it to Gui Knight wouldn't be a big deal. Anyway, the original star opens for 1,000 eras. I can also wait for a few hundred eras. My power is bound to get much stronger. Who knows? I might even become a Universe Knight. Luo Feng, Bloody Wing Knight walked over. I think you should lend it to Gui Knight. Gui Knight is of a different status. It is not easy for him to make such a request. Haha, that goes without saying. Luo Feng laughed and shook his head. It wasn't because he did not want to lend the treasure. He couldn't. It's up to you, Bloody Wing Knight said good-naturedly. You are quite ambitious. Well, I would like to give it a shot, Luo Feng replied. Indeed, Luo Feng wanted to experience what it was like on the mysterious original star. But he knew his power still did not make the grade. Time flew by, and many Universe Knights approached Luo Feng, wanting to borrow his true treasures. Naturally, most great beings would think that Luo Feng would not want to enter the original star. Yet, they all were met with rejection. Of those who approached Luo Feng, some were friends, some were close acquaintances, and others were complete strangers. News of how the earliest batch of Universe Knights was rejected when they went to Luo Feng to borrow his true treasures spread fast. Almost all the Universe Knights came to learn of it. Blade River Emperor Luo Feng actually wanted to venture into the original star, and anyone who wanted to borrow his true treasures could banish all thoughts of it. Conversations on the topic were common. Luo Feng wants to enter the original star? He is merely an undying fighter. Although he is said to be impressive, he is still just a secondary Universe Knight, yet he owns so many true treasures. In the original star, he will be a walking treasury. Any supreme beings from the other races will attack him as soon as they meet him. Isn't he courting his doom? If he wants to die, what do you care? Going into the original star at that level is purely suicidal. Let's see what his end shall be when he enters the original star. It is okay for him to die. But if he dies, the true treasures will land in the hands of the other races. That will be a loss for our entire race, a most egregious sin. Fret not. He will not die so easily. Primal Chaos City Leader values him a lot. He will help him. Who knows? Primal Chaos City Leader may even arrange for 2 other Universe Overlords to form a team with him. There was indeed quite a crowd of Universe Knights who either found Luo Feng's very presence an eyesore or were jealous of him. These Universe Knights were always fighting hard to obtain valuables to offer their race so they could earn contributions in exchange for valuables and resources they needed for themselves. Yet, as a Sector Lord, Luo Feng could obtain soul-type true treasures. Of course, this would cause the other Universe Knights to develop a great deal of resentment, discontent, and even hostility toward him. Many Universe Knights were just waiting to watch Luo Feng make a fool of himself. He had to be kidding. What kind of a place was the original star? It was a realm where Universe Masters and Universe Overlords ran rampant, where senior Universe Knights were commonly seen, and even senior Universe Knights would usually form teams to survive there. The power of any team, regardless of size, could not be belittled, so how could Luo Feng, who was only undying, overcome such odds? Even if he was blessed with a special life form, even if he was blessed with special techniques or even the most powerful valuables, he did not stand a chance. He was undying, which meant his fate was predetermined, and he could never create miracles on that original star. In the virtual universe, on the mountainside of Thunder Island, disciple and teacher, Luo Feng and True Yen Knight met up. I will not be entering that original star, said True Yen Knight. My powers are far from adequate. There was a note of bitterness in his eyes. I would really love to give it a shot, but I know where I stand. Luo Feng, you are my disciple, so let me give you some advice. Your powers are impressive enough, but there is no rush to enter the original star. Moreover, because of your eagerness, you may have estranged your relationship with 2 Universe Overlords. Luo Feng could only laugh. Yes, there were 2 Universe Overlords who wanted to borrow his true treasures. One was Gui Knight, and the other was Bai Feng Knight. Both had wanted to borrow his soul-type true treasure, but he was unable to accede to their requests, and he could not explain why. "You are certainly my disciple," said Truyen Knight. "You even share the same temperament as me." Truyen Knight laughed while shaking his head. "However, when you enter the original star, you must be careful. Be amply prepared. Judging from the information we have gathered so far, it is really very dangerous in there." Luo Feng nodded. Senior Universe Knights getting killed was common. In fact, it was frequently seen. Universe Overlords getting killed was common enough. There were quite a handful of Universe Overlord deaths. Universe Masters getting killed, that was possible, too. "Teacher, I am preparing," Luo Feng said. Said Truyen Knight. "You did not lend the true treasures to anyone, so now, many Universe Knights of the human race are waiting to see you make a joke of yourself. Even your friends are not quite convinced that you are capable of such an unlikely achievement. But I am your teacher. I have watched you grow along the way. I believe in you." Luo Feng grinned. "Remember, do not give them the chance to mock you," Truyen Knight said. "Yes, teacher," Luo Feng said, nodding. A moment later, Luo Feng watched the departing Truyen Knight. "I'm afraid that, other than teacher, not many believe that I can accomplish this miraculous task," Luo Feng said softly. "Even I am not so confident. Given my current power, if I were to run into a Universe Overlord, I would still need to avoid him. Trying to snatch food from a tiger's mouth is reckless. Trying to vie for those true treasures is the same. Too difficult. Force armor don't disappoint me." Luo Feng was sure of his power. With his power, he could run rampant anywhere in the universe. Yet, in that original star, where supreme beings from billions of races gathered, that was where the truly bloody fights occurred. Among all the Universe Masters, Universe Overlords, and Senior Universe Knights in their own small teams, he was indeed ranked at the bottom. He could only depend on force armor. The Universe Supreme Master, Sitting Mountain Guest, left his second disciple 2 true treasures. One was the Yenshin Halberd, and the other was the original soul. For his third disciple, Luo Feng, he also left 2 true treasures. One was the Star Tower, the other was the Force Armor. The Star Tower had met with some accidents while in the making, bringing about an explosive boost in its power, allowing it to reach the level of a supreme true treasure. Force Armor, Yenshin Halberd, and Original Soul, they were all true treasures that were of the same standard. Every one of them was unimaginably precious. Sitting Mountain Guest had paid an immeasurable amount for these. They did not pale in comparison to Primal Chaos City Leader's 1,000 Treasures River. However, Force Armor had been specially refined by Sitting Mountain Guest for his prospective third disciple, and it was designed and created according to his plans so that it would be customized to a high degree of compatibility with Luo Feng when he used it. The Star Map and Sherwu Wings are just ordinary true treasures, Luo Feng thought. Universe Masters are not concerned with them, as they do not serve much use. Force Armor, however, though a measure below the Star Tower, which is one of the supreme true treasures of the universe, still qualifies as one of the top-tier true treasures and pinnacle true treasures. It is much stronger than the Sherwu Wings. The might of Force Armor must be quite extraordinary. Yenshin race lived in a deserted land far away from the human domain. It was an independent race that occupied a large region of the universe. On a desolate planet, vivid green light rays filled the surroundings. A hideous being of another undying race and a youth clad in golden armor appeared on this desolate planet. "Not bad," said the youth in the golden armor said, flashing a smile after one look at the hideous being. The hideous-looking being groveled in veneration repeatedly. "According to the many different races under my command, and the many tokens and locations they have left in this universe, right here is the area closest to the Yenshin race." With a wave, Luo Feng summoned the hideous-looking being into his world ring. "Setting off from here to where the Yenshin race is, the distance is still incredibly far. Fortunately, I have the ancient boat Galaxy." Luo Feng flipped his hand, and an ancient boat the size of a date kernel appeared on his palm. "Larger, larger, larger!" Luo Feng waved his hand. The ancient boat flew up into the air in an instant. At the same time, Luo Feng exerted his godly power with a gurgle. His godly power prompted a change as the ancient boat quickly grew larger while suspended in the air. In the blink of an eye, it became as big as the planet Luo Feng was on. Luo Feng laughed. Then, with a single step, he boarded the ancient boat. He stood on the deck, looking at the vast starry sky. A top-tier treasure such as a flying palace type is so much more powerful than a universe planet ship. Luo Feng exerted his godly power and shrank the ancient boat until it was about 3,200 feet long. After all, to keep the ancient boat at such an enormous size would have required him to use up a lot of his godly power. Take off, Luo Feng commanded using his mind. So, the ancient boat accelerated sharply while sweeping away. It left a silver flare across the starry sky. Almost immediately, it reached the threshold of the speed of light. Thereafter, it disappeared from the sky and entered the dark universe. Within the dark universe, the ancient boat galaxy was still accelerating at a crazy rate. 10 times the speed of light, 20 times the speed of light, 30 times the speed of light, 100 times the speed of light, 200 times the speed of light, 300 times the speed of light. Ha! Marvelous, marvelous! Standing before the handrails on the ship's deck, Luo Feng held on to the railing and looked out. The prow of the ancient boat galaxy had naturally formed a shield that protected the ship within it. Compared to those biological planet ships and mechanical planet ships, this is much faster. Luo Feng constantly increased the speed of the ancient boat galaxy. Finally, at almost 800 times the speed of light, the speed ceased to increase. This was Luo Feng's limit, not the limit of the ancient boat galaxy. If Luo Feng had set his godly power ablaze, he would have increased the speed even more. And if Luo Feng's law comprehension had been better, he would have been able to increase the speed to a superior level. Enough, Luo Feng said to himself. I think it should take around 2 months or more of flying in the dark universe to reach the Yenshin secret region. The Yenshin race lived in a large region of the universe, and because this region was occupied and ruled by the Yenshin race, some universe great beings often referred to it as the Yenshin secret region. Riding the ancient boat galaxy, Luo Feng traversed the dark universe. After close to 3 months, the ancient boat galaxy finally reduced its speed and left the dark universe. In the vast, empty sky, Luo Feng stood on the deck of the ancient boat galaxy, gripping the rail as he looked out. I have reached the Yenshin secret region! Flame Emperor led the Flame God race out of the human race and found a remote territory far away from the human territory to live and breed. After many eons, Flame God race became much stronger, and together with Flame Emperor's invincible power, nobody dared to mess with the Flame God race. The territories of Flame God race and the human race were extremely distant from each other, but the Flame God race would often enter the outer domain battlefield, joining other groups to fight against the humans. I obtained some pieces of armors before, and they're all in the garbage dump after the war. Luo Feng stood on the deck of Ancient Boat Galaxy and gazed out into space. The Flame God race has already detached from the human race, but they still cooperate with the bug race, the demon race, and automaton race to fight the humans. It seems there's a feud between them and the human race. Technically, the Flame God race had belonged to the humans before. Now that they had left the human race, there was no need for them to continue the fight. However, the information Luo Feng had obtained in the virtual universe, along with the armor pieces he had found in the dump pile, indicated that the Flame God race was hostile toward the human race. Flame Emperor is a universe master cultivated by masters with Shanku, thought Luo Feng, and he has 2 powerful true treasures, Flame God Halberd and Original Soul. He's definitely much more powerful than Master of Skywolf. However, even if he exited the human race, he didn't dare to go against masters with Shanku. So, Luo Feng waved his hands. An ancient boat galaxy immediately shrank to the size of a date pit and fell into his palm. I'll go and see this second brother of mine. Luo Feng teleported himself toward the lair of the Flame God race. The Flame God race lived on 3 vast continents. The smallest of the 3 had a diameter of over 1 light year, and the largest one had a diameter of more than 3 light years. The 3 of them surrounded each other. In the central space of the lands floated towering palaces, and there were endless fires around the palaces, burning black, purple, white, green, and blue. Undying warriors were walking in the hallway and on the square. Sometimes, they would look to the tallest main palace at the center with veneration. All the warriors of the Flame God race were tall, robust, and aggressive-looking. The shorter ones were 25 feet tall, while the taller ones were over 30 feet tall. There were scales covering their skins, and each had a single horn set between their eyebrows. Their hands and feet looked like those of earthlings but thicker and covered in scales. Inside the main palace, a towering being sat on the throne. It was almost 6,000 miles tall, and the air exhaled from its nose burned the space around him. His black horns seemed to pierce the sky, and he was covered in black scales. He tapped on the handrail and gazed out into space. He saw the shadow of Luo Feng flying toward him in the distance. Such a strong force. There's a guest in the secret region of my flame god race, the towering figure whispered. He was a universe master. Ordinary universe knights were already able to sense faraway space ripples, but universe masters who were able to completely control space and time were able to detect all the space ripples within tens of millions of light years around him. As long as he wanted, space and time were like his horns that could spread. Let's see who the guest is. The towering being looked afar and saw through everything blocking his sight. A black-haired young man was flying toward him. Hong! The force of the towering being on the throne trembled, shaking the surrounding space. Third brother, the towering being murmured. I knew you'd come here after becoming undying. Taking True Yen as your teacher and Primal Chaos City leader as your teacher. Third brother, why are you so connected to the human race? Have you forgotten that your homeland Earth was robbed by the human race? Don't you know that they treat you well because they want you to sacrifice for them? He shook his head. I'm sorry. I won't allow a true treasure like Force Armor to fall into human hands. The towering being smiled. Without Masters Washanku's order, you will never get the Force Armor. Masters Washanku. Flame God felt intimidated even mentioning that name. The more powerful he got, the more he realized how remarkable Zwashanku was. Zwashanku had given Flame Emperor the original soul, the Flame God Halberd, and Force Armor. He left Force Armor in Flame Emperor's place only temporarily. After becoming a universe master with 3 super true treasures, there was almost no one whom he needed to be afraid of. He wasn't afraid of Primal Chaos City leader or Mengtua master. Although the pinnacle beings among the universe masters were able to suppress him, they couldn't kill him. The only ones who were capable of killing him were the universe supreme masters. All the universe supreme masters were incredibly powerful. They were able to change laws and completely control a certain area. However, the universe law suppressed them from being too powerful, and that was why they could only manifest power slightly stronger than Primal Chaos City leader and Mengtua master. That gigantic axe founder didn't dare anger me because of his relationship with the human race, muttered Flame Emperor. However, Masters Washanku has all sorts of skills, and everyone who messed with him ended up being crushed. Flame Emperor's eyes gleamed coldly. Besides, he's always been alone, and he knows all my trump cards. If we fight, Zwashanku was the only one in the universe that Flame Emperor feared. Besides, even I can't control the Force Armor completely. Flame Emperor stroked his arms, and a transparent suit of armor appeared on top of his scales. There were intricate engravings constantly changing on it. Zwashanku was the best at creating true treasures. The Force Armor was created for my third brother, and thus all the other great beings aren't able to make it recognize them as their owners. Even though I'm able to do that, I can only wield a part of its power. Like Tower Pearl, anyone who tried would die. Although the Force Armor was not that extreme, the other great beings wouldn't utilize it at all. Even Flame Emperor was only able to partially utilize it. Although I'm only able to wield a portion of its power, it's still better than lots of top-tier true treasures. Flame Emperor caressed the transparent armor and looked at the shadow in the distance. He smiled and whispered, Third brother, if you can arrive here and get to see me, I'll follow the order from Zwashanku and hand it to you. However, the prerequisite is for you to see me, or you at least need to arrive at the dwelling place of Flame God race. As long as Luo Feng didn't get the chance to tell the undying fighters within Flame God race of his intentions, then Flame Emperor could pretend to know nothing. However, if Luo Feng couldn't even make it to the land of the Flame God race to see the seniors within the Flame God race, Flame Emperor could pretend not to know about it. Hee. You want the Force Armor now? Wait until you become a Universe Knight. Your power is not even strong enough to get to the land of Flame God race. Flame Emperor abruptly stood up, left his throne room, and walked outside of the palace. Flame Emperor knew Zwashanku's personality, as everything he did could be tolerated by Zwashanku. Seal! Flame Emperor muttered. The space ripples hundreds of light years around his center became completely sealed. The space coordinates of the Flame God race are already concealed, but I'll add some further security to that. Even if you ask Primal Chaos City leader to help you crack it, it'll take some time. Flame Emperor smiled and flew into the dark universe at light speed. So. Luo Feng teleported himself continuously as he approached the land of the Flame God race. Almost there, Luo Feng thought. Huh! Luo Feng said, suddenly stopping to look at the space in front of him. Star fragments floated before him. The space ripples here are completely locked? Why? Within the five-color Aurora Lake, great beings are unable to teleport themselves, thought Luo Feng, and teleportation is only allowed in certain areas on Bauhinia Island. In some of the vital places of human territory, like the Primal region, teleportation is also forbidden. Does this apply to Flame God race also? Universe Masters were able to sculpt law engravings on some gigantic special buildings and drove them with specific crystals like Flame God origin crystals, by which they were able to maintain the effect of Space Seal. They could also accomplish that by using some true treasures. But if he did that, beings of Flame God race also couldn't teleport themselves. Luo Feng frowned. Did my second brother seal the space deliberately? Wait. Luo Feng sensed something going on behind him. He waved his wings, and a beam of light flashed behind him and reached the dark universe at light speed. Luo Feng flew in the dark universe and arrived at the land of Flame God race. At least, he thought he did. Where are the coordinates? Where are the coordinates of the lands of Flame God race? Luo Feng held the locator on his left hand. The coordinates on the screen kept changing, and the coordinates at the center completely disappeared. Luo Feng was stupefied. This was even more brilliant than the way Hu Yanbo had hidden the coordinates in the dark universe. You are simply devious, Luo Feng whispered. You hid the coordinates in the dark universe and sealed the space, which means I can only fly there. Hundreds of light years. Even if I fly there at light speed, it'll take me hundreds of years to arrive. Luo Feng now realized that his second brother Flame Emperor had done this on purpose. He was clearly reluctant to return the Force armor. However, although he hid the universe coordinates and sealed the space, he didn't come here to attack me, Luo Feng thought. It seems that he doesn't dare go against Swishan Ku directly. The Yenshin secret region, upon comparison, was a far cry from the ancestral god's secret region in regards to its level of danger. However, given the power he possessed, the Yenshin secret region alone was not a threat to him in any way. A biological planet ship was heading toward the Yenshin secret region at sublight speed. Second brother. Luo Feng sat in the control room, holding a wine glass. Up until today, Big Brother Pu-Ti does not own a single real top-tier true treasure. You already have two. At the same time, you have been taking my Force armor under your possession for as long as billions of years. This top-tier true treasure is certainly difficult to part with. Your reluctance to let go of it is completely understandable. However, being overly greedy is not good. Luo Feng tilted his head and emptied his wine glass. Then he poured himself another glass in a carefree manner. The original star stays open for 1,000 eras. Even if I were to ride a planet ship and cruise slowly, it would only take a couple hundred years to reach your Yenshin race's home. A couple of hundred years is merely the time taken for a meditation session. Luo Feng was not the least bit anxious. Yenshin race had 3 vacant palaces surrounded by land. In the main palace, Flame Emperor's towering figure was looking far out into space, and through the layers of space that obstructed his view, he caught sight of that dark purple biological planet ship. He could even see Luo Feng drinking his wine in a casual manner inside the planet ship. How unbelievable! He does not know when to back off. Flame Emperor shook his head. Space was sealed, and the coordinates of the dark universe were hidden, yet you simply do not know how to stay away. Dear third brother, do you really think that your second brother would not be able to stop you if I set my mind to it? The original plan was not to offend anyone, but you were so persistent in coming here for your Force armor. Don't blame me, then. A trace of hostility swept across Flame Emperor's face. Within the territory of the 9 Territory Alliance, there was a life planet that seemed ordinary, but this was where humans of the Mud Frog race resided. Thousands of humans of the Mud Frog race were scattered all over this planet. In one of these communities, following the command given by a burly human of the Mud Frog race, a group of Mud Frog race took a test one after another. Individuals will take the test one by one in order, said the burly human. The best performer will be able to receive one-to-one guidance from Third Elder. Upon receiving Third Elder's guidance, one can almost be considered to have become a great being and will be able to fly. From afar, Third Elder stood with his wooden club, smiling as he oversaw everything. His single green eye of his was filled with joy. He relished the peaceful life and living together with the lowest class of this race. When he was still a weak nobody, he used to live in a simple and defenseless community like this. Huh! Third Elder gripped his wooden club and frowned. That Blade River Emperor, Luo Feng, who is a human, yet compared to a unique life form with his ability to bend heavens, has actually appeared within the territory of Yenshin race, and to have so accurately located our coordinates. Third Elder's single green eye showed a hint of surprise. Unquestionably, this news was released by the Yenshin race. Flame Emperor is a universe master. If Blade River Emperor enters his territory, will he stand back and do nothing? It is also fair to say that since Flame Emperor is one of the top-tier beings among the universe masters, this simply may not be worth his attention. Moreover, I heard that Flame Emperor used to be from the human race. This might be part of his concerns. Blade River Emperor, Luo Feng. He owns at least 6 true treasures. News has spread. Those who dared approach him were universe lords who were supremely confident. Senior universe knights are afraid and thus do not deserve the right to fight. Third Elder oversaw the ongoing test. He loved life in a lowly community, and only he could understand that he was the core of the Mud Frog race, their true pillar of support. He was the greatest being of the Mud Frog race, and when it came to enhancing one's power, he was at the top of the list. Soul-type true treasure, he muttered to himself. I must obtain that. Still grasping his scepter, Third Elder remained unmoving on the same spot. His true form, however, had left the planet, leaving behind a soulless human form. As a universe overlord, he only needed an energy form to contain his consciousness. Maintaining his power to meet the level of a sector lord was child's play to him. Amid one of the universe's secret regions, a seemingly ordinary mountain suspended in the air suddenly opened 9 gigantic eyes. These 9 eyes were filled with excitement. Ha! Blade River Emperor Luo Feng has actually deviated from the human race. A soul-type true treasure often seen with fighters like the Bug Soldiers, and every one of them are all masters of the soul type. If I have a soul-type true treasure always on hand, nothing can go wrong. Haha! This soul-type true treasure is mine! Following this, the mountain vanished in the blink of an eye. The moment some supreme beings of the human race got wind of this news, there were explosive reactions within minutes. Why did Luo Feng go to the territory of the Yenshin race? Is he tired of living? Initially, I thought he would die in the original star. But now, it seems he finds the wait to be too long, so he headed straight into the enemy's den. News that spread like wildfire. It started in the open-air square of the World of Glory in the Ancestral God School, which was known to be a top-tier news distribution center. It was where heirs of superpowers of the universe gathered, so it was only a matter of time before everyone got wind of this news. Although he was unable to go to Bauhinia Island and also could not enter the World of Glory, Bark Mirror Emperor, too, heard the news that day. Haha! Blade River, he gloated. Ah, Blade River. I have always worried about how you hid among the human race, refusing to come out. There were numerous heirs in the Northern Territory Alliance, and quite a number of them were close to him. Now you have actually come out, said Bark Mirror Emperor. And you even made it to the territory of the Yenshin race. Now that the original star is about to open, there are many universe overlords finding among themselves with a lack of true treasures, or finding that their true treasures are lacking in power. Yet you choose to make a sudden appearance here in the territory of the Yenshin race. You are courting your own doom, and it is not my fault. Bark Mirror Emperor laughed heartily. This was the happiest moment for him since his resurrection from turning back time. Supreme beings from various races in the universe had their circles of close friends. They all heard the news and came over to the territory of the Yenshin race in no time. The Yenshin race had 3 vacant palaces surrounded by land. In the main palace, a blurry red light appeared. A lone figure walked through while calling out in a mildly respectful tone, "Flame Emperor! Coming!" The towering figure at the palace entrance was staring into space. He smiled as he said, Ba Feng, the reason I called you here is because of Blade River Emperor Luo Feng. Ba Feng Knight was one of the universe overlords of the 9 Territory Alliance. The shape of his body resembled a bamboo pole while his skull was squarish. With a furry face and 3 eyes positioned vertically in a straight line, the moment he had his eye on someone, the other party would fall into a state of illusion. Ba Feng might have had powers that were considered average when compared to universe overlords at the same level, but when pitted against weaklings, he was excellent. Blade River Emperor Luo Feng? Ba Feng Knight seemed a little uncertain. I just heard some news. Apparently Blade River Emperor Luo Feng has appeared here in your territory, Flame Emperor. Yes, Flame Emperor nodded. Take a look. Flame Emperor pointed into the empty space. In that split second, ripples formed within the surface, and a scene that was hundreds of light years away appeared right before him. It was a biological planet ship in flight. "This is Blade River Emperor Luo Feng's planet ship," Flame Emperor said with a chuckle. "What do you mean?" Ba Feng Knight said, confused. "As you know, I was originally from the human race," said Flame Emperor. "Dealing with this fellow, I do not want to do it myself. So you shall do it." "I understand," Ba Feng said, nodding repeatedly. Ba Feng Knight had lived a long life. He knew about the event years ago, when Flame Emperor had betrayed his own human race. That event had been explosive news in the universe during that era. "Do not worry, Flame Emperor," Ba Feng Knight said with confidence. "Though he has the powers of a secondary universe knight, Luo Feng is merely an undying knight. When face to face with me, he stands no chance. Even a senior universe knight does not scare me. He is not a cause for worry. Before me, no one can even think of escaping." Flame Emperor merely nodded. "I know you have your ways." Ba Feng Knight was proficient at dealing with weaklings. That was why Flame Emperor had summoned him. "Flame Emperor, you just have to give the command, and I will take immediate action," Ba Feng Knight continued. "To kill or to capture alive at your command." "To kill, of course," Flame Emperor said cold-heartedly. "Why would I want a human captured alive?" "Yes," Ba Feng Knight replied and did not dare say anything more. "Of course, there is no rush for now." Flame Emperor shook his head. "The news has spread, and many fighters from other races will attack him. That is why I called you here. Just in case. Should the other races lack the skills and allow Luo Feng to escape, that is when I will need your skills." Ba Feng Knight nodded vigorously. Flame Emperor had a very high status in the Nine Territory Alliance, and belonged to one of the highest tiers of existence. His status in the Alliance was definitely comparable to the status of Primal Chaos City Leader in the Hong Alliance. To handle matters under his orders, Ba Feng Knight did not dare keep a slack hand. "Let's wait and see," Flame Emperor whispered. "Yes," said Ba Feng Knight, standing behind the towering Flame Emperor obediently. Flame Emperor was, however, only focused on the scene before him. He was secretly saying to himself, "Dear third brother, I trust that given how well informed you are, you will know that I was the one who let the cat out of the bag. You still have time to escape now. If not, it will be too late. I wonder, are you going to retreat or continue to advance?" In the biological planet ship, Luo Feng sat with his wine glass in his hand. His mind was still maintaining the connection with the virtual universe. Thousand Rain Emperor was the first to contact Luo Feng through the virtual universe. His face was filled with worry. "Blade River," he said. "Word has spread from the open-air square of the World of Glory that you, Luo Feng, have entered Flame Emperor's territory and is now advancing to where he lives. Even the universe coordinates of your location have been revealed. Now, many supreme beings of other races are rushing over. You are not really there, are you?" Luo Feng was taken aback. "Really? The news has spread?" "That's right," said Thousand Rain Emperor, "and the information is very detailed. I felt it must be true the moment I heard it. Luo Feng, do not hide anything from me. You are in grave danger now, extreme danger." Thousand Rain Emperor's voice was fraught with worry. "I got it," Luo Feng replied with a smile. "Thank you. Don't take things lightly," urged Thousand Rain Emperor. "You must leave quickly, right away. Supreme beings from all corners of the universe are hurrying in your direction. If you hesitate further, I am worried that you will be hunted down in no time. By then, it will be too late to take flight." Thousand Rain Emperor was genuinely worried. "Do not worry," Luo Feng replied. "I am very aware." Luo Feng cut the line of communication with Thousand Rain Emperor, but following close behind it were calls from Chao Man Emperor, True Yen Knight, and even Bloody Wing Knight, who also reached out to him through the virtual universe. Clearly, they must have all heard the news and considered it a kiss of death for Luo Feng. Anyone could guess that supreme beings from all corners of the universe were bound to gather to hunt down Luo Feng.